The origins of the lawn jockey go back centuries and is connected to maybe one of the longest running urban legends since the formation of the United States. The lore allegedly begins with the freedman's 12-year-old son, Jocko Graves, his foretold bravery and presumed dedication to General George Washington. The myth of Jocko Graves begins on Christmas Eve in 1776. General George Washington had requested help for a battle across the Delaware River. Tom Graves, a free black man, and his son Jocko Graves were among those who would answer the call for reinforcements from the local militia. According to the story, Jocko was eager to fight, but Washington declared him too young. Moved by Jocko's determination and passion, he asked him to keep watch over the soldiers' horses and hold a lit lantern so that the men could find their way back after crossing the river. The next 2 days brought a deadly blizzard which would even take a few of Washington's men and would leave Jocko stranded in the cold. When Washington and his army returned on December 26th, they found a young Jocko frozen to death with the lantern still burning in his hand. In the same exact spot he was ordered to stand. Washington was said to have been so humbled by Jocko's sacrifice that he made a commemorative statue entitled The Faithful Groomsman. The statue was supposedly kept in the yard of his estate, Mount Vernon. What's lacking, though, is firm proof that this legend or statue ever truly existed, which has fueled a multitude of varying stories for hundreds of years. The black lawn jockey that some of us are familiar with was said to have come from this story, and what was born was a miniature statue fresh with exaggerated stereotypical features. Since then, it's been seen as lawn decor scattered across people's yards across the country. And this has fueled theories about their purpose. Some say that these are racist icons, and others claim that lawn jockeys were actually used to aid escaping enslaved on the Underground Railroad. To this day, their origins still remain highly controversial. A viral Facebook post in 2016 sought to reverse how people viewed these statues. It said that the black footman with the lantern signified that the home was a stop on the Underground Railroad. It also said that lawn jockeys were northern traditions that weren't found in the South until after World War II. And that it showed homes where white homeowners supported early civil rights and diversity efforts. This theory wasn't started on Facebook, however, it's largely unproven. In the 1970s, Charles Blockson, a black historian interviewed by the Chicago Tribune in 1998, and said that ornaments that portray black people in subservient roles have the power to gnaw insatiably at their spirit of those who don't understand the notable role these jockos played in the first half of the 19th century. He went on to say that those escaping understood then that the jockey statue would guide them to freedom, primarily as markers into Canada. He said different ribbons, clothing, and items represented various coded meanings for the enslaved to follow. In 1987, Ellen McAllister Clark, a Mount Vernon librarian, wrote that historians there had found no record or account of a person named Jocko Graves. To her, the meaning of the story was apocryphal, seeking to combine the heroism of blacks during the war with a humanized Washington. On top of that, the Mount Vernon estate is also said to have never had a jockey statue or a Jocko Graves statue, and that Jocko Graves is in the same category of George Washington fiction like the cherry tree and silver dollar. The Jim Crow Museum points out the improbability that jockeys were symbols of freedom. The assumed coded colors actually started in World War I as railroad signals long after the late 1700s. It's also pointed out that runaways traveled at night and that the darkness would have made it difficult to see different colors and different symbols. David Pilgrim, curator of the Jim Crow Museum, acknowledges that there is no consensus explanation that exists for the lawn jockey, and that the common legends aren't supported with any evidence. He also doubted that some of the people with black lawn jockeys were aware of the legends concerning Jocko Graves or the Underground Railroad. He also believed that these are demeaning relics of the past and that it would be hard to believe that any apt adult couldn't see how offensive these jockeys are, mainly for their jet black skin and oversized lips and overemphasized features. While the story for Tom and Jocko Graves, as well as George Washington, may be painted in a heroic light, it may not actually be the case for the origins of the lawn jockey. The only true evidence around where lawn jockeys came from are actually in the iconology itself, which is pretty straightforward and maybe not the most comfortable. And like many things, it's possible that its actual purpose could have been reclaimed. The undercurrent of the story, though, is how an entire community of people have risen to surpass the image of these jockeys. And while Jocko Graves himself is an urban legend, the resilience in the community that he represents is not.